Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video. I know it's a bit insane. 2 videos in 1 week. It's not something I do anymore, so this is quite an important event. This is quite a big deal. Before I start, let's not forget the album of the day. This is White Light from the Mouth of Insanity by Swans. Swans are a post-punk band from New York, and this album came out in 1991, I believe. If I'm wrong, I will put it up on the screen. But this is an absolutely fantastic record. I think anyone can get behind this album, no matter what genres you listen to. If you like progressive rock, or if you like metal, or if you like punk, or if you just like anything like that, you will really dig this album. So I highly recommend this to all of you beautiful people out there. And one more thing quickly as well, I would just love to thank Steven Wilson's management team for inviting me to this event and giving me the opportunity to listen to the new album in its entirety, in the way it should be listened to. I had such an amazing time, and so did my dad. And the venue itself was absolutely stunning. I mean, it was just, the album just sounded absolutely beautiful in that setting with all of the different audio equipment that they use, which I'll get into later on in the video. But I would just like to say thank you to them, and let's talk about the event. So last week, I think it was, I got a message on Instagram from a member of Steven Wilson's social media management team, and it was essentially inviting me to listen to the new album, The Harmony Codex by Steven Wilson, at a event in London in a audio space, like a professional audio space. And I remember when I got the message, I kind of just jumped in my seat. I was like, there's no way that this is real, because you know, I've never been invited to a professional kind of event, a music event before. So of course I was like, yes, I would love to, and I took my dad along with me as well, because both of us are big Porcupine Tree / Steven Wilson fans. So we went along, and it was yesterday. The reason I'm making the video so soon after is just because my memory is quite terrible. I don't know why, but I just love to, when it comes to music or even films or just anything, I gotta talk about it as soon as possible, otherwise I'll start forgetting little details. So I've got it all in the brain right now and I'm ready to talk about it. So we took the tube into London, as you do, and the actual venue was absolutely stunning. It was in Highgate, which is in a very nice part of London, and it was this professional kind of audio place. It was called L Acoustics, and it was just been amazing. We went in, they gave us free drinks, which I'm always happy about, love a free drink. And they gave us these little tote bags with some little goodies in it. I love a goodie bag. So I was very excited about that. And it was so comfortable in there. It was, you could just tell everyone there was very excited for this record. Of course, if you already know by now, the album's not actually being released until the end of September. So hearing it a month prior, it was very exciting, and it was building up, because I remember hearing Steven Wilson's announcement that he was releasing a new album. So I was like, oh, I'm very interested, because obviously Steven Wilson's a very innovative and interesting artist where his albums will not sound the same. So this album will sound different to Future Bites, which was the previous album, and that one will sound different to that one, and that, you know, so on. So I love hearing what he has been cooking up essentially for the past couple of years. They made this experience just as amazing as possible. Steven himself actually ended up coming out and saying a few words before the album started, which was really cool. I didn't actually expect him to be there when they were like, oh, you know, he's here, right? And I was just like, what? So he came on, gave a little speech about his new album and a little bit about the process of making the album, what he was, the genres, if you can even say that there wasn't even one genre in the album, but what the album was kind of, the content basically. Then the lights went off, and I've actually been to an event kind of similar to this in London. If you are in the UK, I know they do this in the States I think as well, but it's this kind of thing called pitch black playback. That's so hard to say. I went to one a few years ago with Yoan. Of course this was a completely different thing, but we went in and they gave us blindfolds and we listened to the entirety of Tame Impala's latest album, and that was kind of like a similar experience with the whole turning the lights off and kind of absorbing the music rather than having all the distractions around you. So yeah, lights flicked off and the album began. So obviously I can't, you know, say too much, because mainly I don't have the track listing. I can just kind of give a little summary of what to expect from the album and what kind of vibes it's giving off. So the beginning of the album started off very typical Steven Wilson progressive rock style, because he's kind of molded himself a style in the progressive rock kind of scene. So it was a lot like that, lovely acoustic kind of moments. And I think a standout moment for me for the entire album was the keyboard synth work, kind of that kind of stuff. It was very kind of drony at points, which I really like, and it never bored you at all. It kept you on your toes all the time. Each track was completely different from the last one, but yet it was cohesive. So, you know, even though one song was kind of like King Crimson and then the next song was a bit more like Pink Floyd, I guess, they still kind of merged together pretty well. So yeah, the keyboards work, the ambient parts of the album were really great. There was one track in particular that I will say that is probably one of my favorites from the album, and it featured a female singer as well. Forgive me, I do not know her name. I'll probably do some background research before I edit this video, so I'll put her name up if I can actually find it. But that song was absolutely stunning. This woman is clearly a very, very talented singer. The way that their voices kind of work together was also really great, because they both have vocal styles that kind of work in the same context, if that makes any sense. So that was really great. I loved that a lot. Yeah, obviously there was some really wacky progressive rock moments as well. As I said, there was bits that sound a lot like King Crimson when it just got like, it just kind of went on a tangent of just completely out there, like jazzy kind of moments, and it was like, wow, I haven't listened to anything like this in quite a long time. I was like, oh, this is very refreshing. I haven't listened to it in so long, so I'm really, really digging it. And it went on for like 10 minutes and I was like, yeah, I really love this. This is really great. Very clearly inspired by King Crimson. Obviously, when you guys end up hearing the album, you'll probably agree with me. Yeah, as I said, I went with my dad as well, and when they ended up flipping the lights back on, we just kind of looked at each other and we were like, we're definitely pre-ordering the album. That is something that we are going to do as soon as we get home. We are going to get to this album one way or another. It was definitely worth that kind of, yes, we're buying it. Because sometimes you may also get this if you collect vinyl as well. You'll listen to an album and you're like, this will sound just great on a nice set of speakers and a nice turntable. I literally had that with this album. I was like, this is going to sound great on a great sound system. Unfortunately, mine isn't too jazzy, but our downstairs one is a lot better, so I got to play that one downstairs. But yes, the album was absolutely phenomenal. I think you guys will absolutely love it. I think it's something that not only prog fans can enjoy. I think there was a point where there was some very interesting drum beats and drum patterns as well. Obviously they have the wacky time signatures, which is something I'm always a fan of, but there were even electric drums at some points, like kind of programmed drums, and it was almost kind of like, it was one track that was kind of like a rap kind of vibe, which at first I was like, I don't know what I think of this. It kind of took me aback a bit, because I was like, I never expected Steven Wilson to make something like this, but obviously it's Steven Wilson, so he's always kind of pushing the boundaries of his own music. So I was like, what is going on here? And you know, as the song kind of went on, I was like, I really love the lyrics and I really love the flow as well, because I do like rap music. I'm very selective of what rap music I like, but I do like it. And it sounded just very, very fluent, very nice, but the instrumental in the background as well, they're just absolutely perfect. As I said, it kind of bounced between electronic drums and an actual acoustic set of drums. I don't really know what else, like an actual kit. I don't know how to, I guess acoustic if it's not electric. I mean, you have that with guitars as well, acoustic guitar, electric guitar. There were points where it even got kind of post-punky, even like a little bit more like metal as well. Not like full-on like distorted guitars and blast beats. I'm talking like just the actual like kind of build up and kind of the kind of way he was playing guitar at point. The guitar work was very kind of reminiscent of kind of early metal, particularly maybe a Black Sabbath-y kind of metal, so more doomery, kind of stonery, if I can say that on this channel. But yeah, drony is a really great way to describe this album. I'm really into that kind of drony vibe at the moment, so I was like, yes, I really like this. But of course, all in all, it was very progressive. It's a very progressive album, and it's something that I think all of you guys will enjoy. As I keep saying, definitely when it comes out, I believe it's the 29th of September. I'll flash up on the screen again if I'm wrong. Definitely give it a listen. It's better than the Future Bites. That's one thing I will say. Is obviously it wasn't meant to be like a follow-up or even remotely similar, but for me personally, I enjoyed the contents of this album a lot more than Future Bites, which was his previous solo album, if you aren't aware. I actually enjoyed this about the same as the latest Porcupine Tree album, which came out last year. Kind of equal on that point, so that's how good it was, just on first listen. Before I finish up this video as well, you guys can actually listen to his latest single, which came out, I think, a couple of days ago. It's called Economies of Scale, it was a really great track as well. So I will link that down below. If you haven't heard it yet, please do. It's absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, that kind of sums up my experience. Once again, thank you so much for inviting me. Please consider me again in the future. But yeah, my dad had a great time as well. Unfortunately, he cannot be here to talk about the album right now. He'd be saying probably the same things as what I'm saying. So yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. And yeah, my Spotify is down in the description below if you would like to check out that. Of course, we still have our record store as well, Mubu Records. That is also down in the description below. If you want to buy a vinyl record for yourself or a friend, you know, support local businesses. And yeah, all my social medias, blah 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 blah, all of that stuff is down in the description. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.